See if there's anywhere in your physical body where you can soften just a little bit more into this shape that you're in. Letting any stream of thoughts that's moving through the mind slow down. On your next inhale, let it bring you up into tabletop position. Just slowly sliding forward, bringing the knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders. And then just like big circles with your hips here. So moving the hips over to one side, big circle here, all the way back to your heels, like you're coming back to child's pose. Take one more big circle in the direction that you're moving. And once the hips get back towards your heels, go ahead and move the hips in the other direction. Two big circles here in the other direction. Circling out, just feeling into the sides of the body, feeling into the hips. And we'll meet back in the middle in your tabletop position, just grounding down through the palms, ground through the knees. Take a big breath in here, a full breath out. And then just stack the right hand right in front of the left. So we'll come down onto the left elbow and just let your right hand kind of press into the ground. Maybe it slides back a little bit as you set your hips back, and just drop your head between your arms. Just lengthening through the side of your body, feeling into the right side, the rib cage there. And then just slowly come back up through the center and just switch that out. So left hand stacks right in front of the right. Bring the right elbow down, soften into that side bend. Just take a couple big breaths here. Inhaling back up through the center, hands back under the shoulders, and we'll do those big hip circles one more time. Just two big circles in each direction. As you move in this kind of fluid way in the center of the body, just start to notice the connection that you have to the ground, the hands, the knees, the tops of the feet. Just feeling into the pelvis, kind of working that space out. And we'll just meet back in tabletop again, just sliding forward, hands under the shoulders. Take a big breath in, and then walk your knees back just a little bit behind your hips. So you're in this little incline position here. Lower your forearms down onto the ground for this forearm plank pose. Knees can stay grounded, or tuck your toes and lift the knees up for a little more activation here. And then press your elbows down into the ground. Feel the space between your shoulder blades puff up. You might even lift your inner thighs, kind of lifting to make some more space in your low back. Draw the navel to the spine. Take one more inhale, and then drop your knees, drop your hips for Sphinx pose. We'll just come down and start to broaden across the chest. So really pressing your elbows down, lift the chest. And then drop your chin in towards your chest and just start to rock your head side to side. Just a little release of the neck here. If you'd like, you can notice some more activation in the lower body, the legs squeezing together, the low belly toning a little bit as you soften the neck. And then gently just come back through the center. Take one big inhale to lift, broaden across the chest. And then just come down onto the forehead, elbows come wide. Take two big breaths here, just softening and releasing, maybe letting one of those breaths out of the mouth. And then just come back into your forearm plank pose. Forearms on the ground, tuck your toes, lift the hips, lift the knees if you'd like, and then take a couple breaths. Just feeling into this shape. You can shift your weight side to side a little bit, kind of feeling in, forward and backward. Steady breath. On your next exhale, just drop the knees, lower your hips down, and come into your Sphinx pose. One more time. If you want to take it a little bit further into a little more back bend, you can bring your hands wide And just start to press up a little bit higher here. So just kind of arching the back a little bit more. If that feels tender on your low back in any way, you can always drop back down. No problem. We'll hold for about 2 more big breaths here. On your exhale, just come down, release onto the belly, forehead, rest. 2 big breaths here, softening as much as possible. Gently start to lift your chest and roll into the right side of your body. So we're just rolling over here. Forearm is on the ground, parallel with the front of the mat this time. And then bring your left hand onto your hip or out in front of you for a little balance. We'll come into a forearm side plank. So you can just stay here and breathe. Sometimes this is enough just to kind of balance here. You can also lift your hip off of the ground, get a little more active. Take a couple more big breaths here. Maybe the left arm lifts. Maybe your left foot hovers over the right. All options here, just breathing for 1 more inhale, lengthen, and exhale, lower the hip down, lower the hand down, and just roll back through the center and over to the other side. So just coming onto the left here, left forearm on the ground, extend through the heels, rolling onto your side, hand on the hip or out in front for some balance. And then maybe lift the hips. So just checking in, breathing, lengthening through both sides of the body, really strengthening here through the core. Take 1 more inhale, and then just drop the hip down if it's lifted. Move back through the center, and bring your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows point back. Take a big breath in to press up through table or plank pose, all the way back to downward facing dog. And just take a few breaths here in down dog, just pedaling out the legs, just kind of feeling into this shape for the first time in the practice. Spread your fingers wide, press into the ground, lengthen your arms, lengthen your back, and then soften the heels down towards the ground back behind you. Notice your breath here. Full breaths in, full breaths out. On your next inhale, shift into plank pose, just kind of rounding forward, puff up the space between your shoulder blades. Big breath in, down dog, exhale. We'll do that again, drawing the right knee in towards the nose this time. So plank pose, hug the knee in towards the nose, round the back, press into the ground, and then down dog. Just set your right foot back, lift the hips, left side, left knee in towards the nose, rounding, pressing in, lift up and back, down dog. We'll do that 1 more time on each side. Just rounding as you shift forward. Lift the hips, plant the foot, and other side. Back to down dog. Take a big breath in, child's pose just for a moment. Just resting, releasing, softening as much as you can. How much can you soften here just for a few moments? Whenever you're ready, gently shifting forward back into your tabletop, back into downward facing dog. Hips lift high, heels soften. Take a big breath in, a full breath out, and then gently make your way to the top of the mat. Just tiptoeing forward so the feet meet the hands, and then just fold. Just releasing down into your standing forward fold. Let the heels ground, let the head be heavy, chin to chest, maybe even shake out the head, yes and no a little bit. And ground down through your feet a little bit firmer as you bend your knees a little bit, come up halfway. So the shoulders are about hip height here. Reach your chest forward, and then imagine the armpits lengthening away from the hip creases. Take 1 more inhale, and then just fold forward over the legs. And we'll do that 1 more time, just lifting, lengthening, find that space here. Pausing for a couple breaths as you press the feet down. Imagine that your feet are kind of sliding out towards the edges of your mat, really gripping down into the ground here. Take 1 more inhale, and then just fold forward. Release down, soften the feet. Rise all the way up. Take a big breath in. Reach up through the fingertips, palms can meet overhead. And then dive forward. Exhale, just releasing over the legs, forward fold. Your inhale brings you to lift halfway. Just that big breath in to lengthen. Maybe the feet press down. Exhale, hands come down onto the ground. Step back to your plank pose. Nice slow transition here to plank pose. Take a big breath in and then drop the knees, tabletop position. Walk your hands back under the shoulders. Drop the belly, look up, arch the back, cow pose. And exhale to round, cat pose. Taking 2 more rounds of this cat and cow here. Just letting each breath be elongated and smooth, connecting to the opposite. Inhale, leading into the exhale. After that last round, you can just come to a neutral spine and then just press back to your down dog. Tucking the toes, turn the belly, lift the hips. Take a couple breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose if possible. That ocean breath, inhaling and exhaling smoothly over the throat. One more inhale here. Exhale, walk to the top of the mat. Take your time here, folding forward when you get there. Lifting halfway on an inhale. And exhale, releasing back down into your fold, rising all the way to stand. Arms stretch up, lengthen here. Big breath in as your feet root down. Dive over your legs, forward fold. So nice slow sun salutations here with a little addition in the middle, lifting halfway on your inhale. Exhale to step back into plank. We'll do a couple rounds of this with a different addition every time. So plank pose for an inhale. Drop your knees, come into your tabletop position, hands under the shoulders. Extend your right leg back. So reaching through the right leg, reach your chest forward. And then lift your right foot off of the ground, maybe, if that feels all right for you. And maybe your left hand lifts as well. Pausing, breathing here. Notice where the center of your body is. You can stay right here, or for a little extra challenge, draw your right foot out to the right, your left hand out to the left. Awkward airplane, the name of this pose. Just come back to the center. We'll do that one more time. So even if your hand is planted, your right foot can just come out to the side. Just come back to the center to lengthen, and then drop the hand, drop the knee. Swivel the hips a little bit, just softening for a moment. And come back through the center. We'll just do the other side here. Left leg extends back. First step here. Right arm can reach forward. Maybe the left foot hovers. Grounding, connecting to the center of the body here as you draw the left foot out, right arm out, lengthen, and back through the center. Just one more of those. Just the foot out to the side is fine too if your hand is planted. Just come back through the center here to lengthen, and then drop the hand, drop the knee, hips shift side to side, meeting back in the middle. Take a full breath in, tuck your toes, down dog, exhale, hips lift high. Connect to your breath here. Palms are rooted. Hips are lifting. Find a little more space in the hip creases by scooping the navel. Drop the chest towards the tops of the thighs. Tiptoe to the top of the mat in your own time. Make your way there, nice and slow. Lift halfway, inhale. And exhale, fold forward. Feet are rooted, rise all the way up. Big breath in, stretch up, reach up, lengthen. Right away, just diving forward, hinge at the hips. Fold forward, chin to chest. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Step back to your plank pose. Nice steady transition here. Feet step back. Lift the inner thighs, tone the fronts of the thighs. And then drop your knees, tabletop position, hands under the shoulders. Left leg extends back here. Drop your left heel this time and kickstand the right foot out to the side, just peeling open into this nice side body extension. Feel free to extend your left arm alongside your ear. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. So this is a variation of side plank. If you like, you can lift your left foot off of the ground for a little more balance challenge, maybe a little more length. And this is a variation of half moon. So kind of getting that sensation of lengthening through both sides of the body wherever you are. If your foot is hovered above the ground, drop it back down, and then just come back to your tabletop. Slow transition here to tabletop. Knees match under the hips. Extend your right leg back. Drop the heel, left foot kickstands out, peel open, and breathe. Lengthening here, draw the navel to the spine, drop the sitting bones down towards your heel, and maybe the right foot lifts. Just lengthening a little bit more here. Connect to your breath. On your next exhale, your right foot comes down. Gently come back to your tabletop. Full breath in here, tuck your toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Know that child's pose is a great place to be instead of down dog if you prefer that anytime. Settling into child's pose. Just taking a big breath in here, a full breath out. Gently make your way forward, tiptoe to the top of the mat. Head is heavy over the legs. Feet are rooted. Rise all the way up. Arms stretch up, lengthen here. Exhale, dive over your legs. Forward fold. One more of these sun salutation A variations. Lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, step back to your plank pose. Nice steady transition here. Strong plank, big breath in. And then drop your knees, tabletop position, hands walk back. Left hand is rooted, just peel your chest open to the right. Take two big circles with the right shoulder, the right hand, two big circles in the other direction. Just circling out your shoulder joint here, and then thread your right arm under your left. Come down onto the shoulder, onto the ear. And know if it feels really tight in your shoulder here, you can just hover your shoulder off of the ground. Just lengthen your left hand forward a little bit to get some kind of grounding there. And just notice that twist happening in your spine as you lengthen the hip creases back and breathe. Gently start to come back up and out of the pose, back to tabletop and to the other side. So left arm peels open, two big circles here. Just breathing, flowing, moving that space in your body, other direction. And eventually just coming into that thread, the needle, left arm under the right, coming down nice and slow here. Take a couple breaths. Again, hovering the shoulder is fine, or bringing it all the way down onto the ground. And just slowly start to come up and out of the pose. Hands under the shoulders, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Big breath in here, full breath out. Gently make your way to the top of the mat, tiptoe there. Forward fold, head is heavy. Lift and lengthen, find space in the spine. Exhale to release back down. And then slowly rise all the way up. Arms stretch up, reach up, palms meet overhead, and just lower the hands to your sides. Mountain pose. You can flip the palms to face forward. Let the shoulders soften down the back. And then just find a steady gaze out in front of you. So just something that's not moving, something steady. And we'll just start to bend the right knee. So hugging your right heel in towards your glute. Just let the right knee drop down in line with the left. Pointing the right knee down towards the ground. Just kind of activating the leg here by squeezing the heel in. And then maybe grab onto the top of your foot. I'm just kind of pausing here for a couple breaths for this quad stretch, finding that length through the right thigh, the right hip crease. Lift your chest up to find even more length there. Just take one more inhale, and then just drop your foot, and we'll do the other side. So left heel hugs in, drop the knee down, squeeze the heel in, and then maybe grab the foot. We're just breathing here for a couple of moments, finding that nice length here, lifting up and out of the rib cage on the left side. One more big breath in, and just drop the foot. Plant your feet under your hips and come into chair pose. So just bend your knees, lift the chest, settling in here as the shoulders soften down the back. Take one more inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs, forward fold. Lift halfway on your inhale, just getting spacious here. Find some length, and then step back to your plank pose. Little sun salutation B variation, lifting the inner thighs, plank pose. Take a big breath in, and then drop your knees, come into up dog. Untuck the toes, lower the hips, broaden across the chest, and then just come all the way back to your downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, hips lift high. Lift your right leg on an inhale, sweeping it up and back. And then just step the foot between your hands, drop your back heel, warrior one, arms stretch up. Just grounding down through the legs here. Take a couple breaths here, just getting settled into your warrior one pose. So feet are grounded, chest is lifted, breath is steady. We'll take one more big breath in. Warrior two on your exhale, open out. Let the arms open out, let the left hip draw open here, and just gaze over the front hand, kind of finding that nice steady gaze again as you settle into this nice strong pose. Just take one more big breath in. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down, frame the front foot, step to your plank pose. Feel free to vinyasa with a chaturanga or just drop your knees, come into that upward dog again. We'll meet back in downward facing dog to set up for the other side. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Step the foot between the hands, drop your back heel, warrior one, arms sweep up. Grounding through your legs, lift the center chest, just getting a little lighter there in the upper body. On your next exhale, warrior two, arms open out. Let your hips open a little here. You might even find some more space in your low back, dropping the sitting bones down, broaden the sacrum. Take one more big breath in, and then just cartwheel your hands down. Nice fluid movement down to the ground to plank pose. Vinyasa of your choice. You can just meet back in down dog. That's where we'll all meet. Breathing, flowing, finding your way there to downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Make your way to your hands into your forward fold and lift halfway. Lengthen the spine. Exhale to release back down and rise all the way up on your inhale. Arms stretch up, reach up, chair pose, knees bend, sink down just for a big breath in. And then stand up, hands down to your sides, legs straighten. Take a full breath in here. A full breath out. One more inhale. Chair pose. Exhale, just bend your knees, reach the arms up. Find that length here through the sides of your body. Legs stay stable just as they are. Start to twist open to the right, just opening the arms towards the front and back of your mat, kind of turning your chest to the right. Take one more inhale and then exhale back up through the center. And just do that to the other side. So twisting open to the other side here, reaching through the fingertips, lengthen through the chest. One more inhale, back up through the center. Just stretch up for one more big breath in and then fold forward. Head is heavy, hips are lifted, find length, big breath in, lift halfway. Step back to your plank pose. Plank pose here. Take a big breath in and then vinyasa, or just lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Down dog, exhale. On your next inhale, shift into your plank pose. Find that connection here, rounding forward. Down dog, exhale. Plank pose with the right knee in, hugging in here. We've done this before already today. Down dog, lift your hips, plant the foot, and other side. Left knee in, round the spine. Back to down dog. One more on each side. Steady breath here, really pressing into the ground. Use that connection to the ground here as you flow. Other side, hug in. Nice, and then come all the way forward into plank pose. Drop your knees, come down onto the belly, and just rest for a moment. Just pausing, resting, breathing on the belly. Feel free to stack your hands. Rest your forehead on that little pillow of your hands. Maybe let a breath out of your mouth. From here, just start to lift your chest a little bit. You can prop yourself up with your left forearm. Bend your right knee in towards your glute. So hugging your knee in towards the left inner knee, the left inner leg, just kind of squeezing in there. And then maybe reach back with your right hand, so grabbing onto the top of your foot. And you might choose to even roll the hand to the inside of your foot here. So finding that kind of inner grip that kind of opens the chest a little bit more. And once you're here, you may choose to just come down onto the forehead, kind of building our dancer pose on the belly. Reach your left arm forward. You can rest your forehead down just to feel more grounded there. You can start to kick back into the right foot, and maybe you start to peel the chest up a little bit here. Finding that little half locust pose, half bow pose here, that kind of arch in your back. Just take one more big breath in, and then just come back down onto the belly, release the right foot, and we'll just switch sides. You can pause for a couple breaths in between sides, just bending your left knee whenever you're ready, reaching back for the foot. Just finding that connection to start rolling the hand to the inside. Maybe you can reach your right arm forward, ground the forehead for a moment if you'd like, and then just start to kick back, just opening into that dancer pose variation, laying down, forward facing, lengthening the chest forward, gently kicking back into the hand. Take one more inhale, and then just come down. Nice slow release back onto the belly, release the foot, just softening, 2 big breaths. Gently bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, press through table or plank back to downward facing dog. Slow transitions here, down dog. Full breath in, full breath out. And gently tiptoe to the top of the mat. Forward fold, head is heavy, belly is light. Rise all the way up, arms stretch up, reach up, lengthen. Just bring your hands down to your sides, just softening to mountain pose for a moment. We'll come into warrior 3 pose next. So you may want to have some kind of surface out in front of you, a chair to hold on to, or even some kind of shorter surface like blocks or books, really high books. We'll start by just bending both knees. So both knees are bent. We're leaning over with the hands on something. So either on blocks, the ground if you can reach it, a chair if you want even more height, just connecting your hands to something. And then extend your left leg back, just reaching back through the left leg, taking a couple big breaths here in our warrior 3 pose.
You can kind of think of this as spinal balance, how we were when we were on hands and knees. If you'd like, you can reach your right hand forward, finding that opposite action here of reaching and lengthening hand and foot. And if you want even more challenge here, connect to the center of the body. Keep that awareness as you move your right hand out, left foot out to the left, and then back through the center. And we'll just do that one more time. Right arm reaches out to the right, left to the left, left foot to the left, and then back through the center. Just lengthening here, and then bend your right knee. Left foot just comes down to meet the right, and just hang over the legs for a couple breaths. Forward fold.
Let any tension go in the neck and the head. Maybe sway side to side a little bit. And then gently bend the knees, lift the chest, hands come onto your surface, whatever that might be, and extend your right leg back. The warrior three pose here, just extending through the right heel, reach your chest forward, get connected to the core here. We've done lots of plank, kind of know what muscles are connected to your core. But at this point, I think in practice, reaching the left hand forward, maybe. All these things are options. You can bring your left hand out to the side, right foot out to the right, connect to the center of the body. We'll just do one more of those if you're choosing that option. And then back through the center to lengthen, back to your forward fold, right foot down, left hand down, folding, softening, releasing. Ground through your heels, through the base of the big toes. See if you can let the head get a little heavier, chin to chest. And then gently just roll yourself up, one vertebra at a time. Just nice slow roll up into a standing position. You might let the shoulders come up towards the ears and down the back. And then starting to move into our full dancer pose. We're all prepped for it. Just bending your right knee. Grab onto the top of the foot. You can slide the hand to the inside of your foot. Just finding that kind of open side chest here. Lift your chest. And then reach your left arm up alongside the ear. You can stay right here, or you can start to kick back, kind of finding that arch in the back, reaching out into the horizon here with the left hand. Just keeping that awareness of length through the right side of your body. Steady breath. And just start to come back through the center. Slowly release. Drop the right foot down. You can shake the legs out a little bit if you'd like. And then just move to the other side. So left knee bends. Hug it in. Hold onto the foot. Right foot is planted. Bring the hand to the inside and then extend your right arm up. Lengthen. Breathe. Lift your chest. And then maybe you just start to hinge. Reach. Lengthen. And breathe. Gently come out of the pose when you're ready. Release your foot, step it out. Maybe give your hips a little rock side to side, kind of freeing up the hips a bit. And then plant your feet back under your hips, rooting down, stretch the arms up, lengthen here. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale brings you to lift halfway. Vinyasa, back down to the ground. Hands plant, feet step back. Take your choice of vinyasa here. We'll just meet back in down dog. Take a big breath in and down dog. Big breath out. Lift your right leg. This time we'll open the hip. So bend your knee. Squeeze the heel in towards your glute and then lift your knee a little bit higher. Just opening through that side of the body. Press into the ground with your hands. Take one more inhale. Pigeon pose. Shift your right shin forward. Bring the right knee and foot onto the ground. And extend your left leg back. So nice with any transition here into pigeon pose, no rush. You can bring something under your right hip if you want a little extra support there. And then gently just start to make your way forward, folding forward, resting in pigeon for the next few breaths. Notice where your pelvis is in this shape, just kind of bringing awareness there. You might even check in that your right hip and left hip are more or less in the same line. Take a cleansing breath out of the mouth here, just letting go, softening. And gently start to walk your hands back. Lift the chest, roll onto your right hip, and swing the left leg out and around. Crossing it up and over your right leg. We'll come into this seated twist. So your right foot is over by your left hip. Your left foot is on the outside of your right knee, pointing up towards the ceiling. And then just bring your left hand back behind you, stretch up through the right hand to lengthen, and then just twist over the left shoulder. So hooking the elbow or just hugging your knee in towards your chest a little closer. Either way is fine. Taking one more big breath in here up into the rib cage. And exhale, release out of the twist and into fire log pose. So you can slowly slide the right leg out from under you. Left leg just kind of hugs in a little closer, and you can stack the left leg behind the right leg or on top of the right leg. So stacking the fire logs, either one on top of the other or one behind the other. And either way is fine. Obviously, the one on top is going to feel a little more intense. So just choosing where you want to be, settling the hips down. You may even kind of rock side to side to get both of your hips rooted evenly. And then we'll just fold forward for a couple breaths, hinging, folding. Notice where you feel sensation in this pose. And just slowly walk the hands back, lift your chest, unravel your legs, come into your tabletop or down dog, just moving into that same little sequence on the other side. That hip opening sequence, left leg lifts up, open the hip here to start, just yawning the hip open, lift the knee high, and exhale to swing the leg forward for pigeon pose, left side here. Right leg reaches back, finding that connection here to the pelvis, that kind of even feeling in the hips. And then just make your way down, nice slow release forward into your pigeon pose. See if you can soften the jawline just a little bit more. Gently walk your hands back. Swing the right leg around, roll onto your left hip and come into a seated twist. Right foot to the outside of your left leg, right heel hugging in towards your hip. Just lift and lengthen to start. Bring your right hand back behind you and then just twist over the right shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Breath is steady.
On your next exhale, slowly unravel through the center and into your fire log pose. So again, just kind of scooching your bottom leg forward. You can stack your right leg behind it in this kind of seated position, sort of like cross-legged easy seat, just folding from there, or stacking the leg on top, and bringing ankle over the knee and knee over your ankle, and then folding when you're ready. As you're folding, you might notice a little bit of space at your hip creases. Maybe let a breath out of your mouth here. And just slowly unravel. Just releasing the legs, walk your feet wide, windshield wiper the knees side to side. And as you drop the knees to the right the next time, you can just start to kind of turn over the right shoulder and just slide your left hand back behind you. And then back through the center. And other side, right arm sweeps back behind. And just do that one more time on each side. Just kind of moving and breathing for the next few moments. Notice your body's connection to the ground. As you make your way back through the center, plant your feet, move your seat to the center of your mat, and just slowly roll on down onto your back. And just take a few moments here to just kind of rock side to side, front to back. Notice the back of your body on the ground, starting to soften and just getting acquainted with the ground again. Gently hug the right knee in towards your chest, extend the left leg down towards the bottom of the mat. Just lengthening through the left side of the body. You can always just keep that left foot on the ground as well. And from here, we'll come into a little half happy baby. So right knee kind of draws out towards the right side of the mat more. You can hold on to the back of your knee or the edge of your foot. Just dropping in here for the next few breaths. You can kind of think about this pose like an upside down lizard pose. Like your right foot was actually planted on the ground, maybe drawing your right knee out a little bit away from your body. Gently soften the grip of your right leg. Just let your arms open out into a T. Your right knee is still close towards the chest. And you can just come into a twist from here, dropping the right knee over to the left. If having the left leg extended feels too intense, you can always bend the left knee and just slide it underneath your right again. Spinal twist. Dropping in here. Feel free to bring your gaze over towards your right hand. Let your next exhale bring you back through the center. And just hug the left knee in. Left knee hugs in, right foot can come onto the ground or extend the leg straight. Just take a few breaths here. Half happy baby when you're ready. Hold onto the foot or the back of the knee. Feel free to draw the knee out and away from the body. We'll be here for a couple big breaths.
Gently release the foot with your hand. Open the arms out into a T, spinal twist. Left knee over to the right. Notice how your breath travels through the center of your body. Gently release back through the center. Just giving yourself a big hug here, wrapping your arms around your legs, maybe even bring your forehead towards your knees. Take a big breath in and then gently unravel, just stretching your arms out, your legs out, settling in for Shavasana. And know this shape of final rest can look different for everybody. So just finding a place where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you can rest for a little bit of time. Just beginning that process of softening to tune inward, softening the eyes and the jawline, letting your awareness move to the shoulders, softening there. Let this process of softening bring you deeper into this practice of yoga, this present moment awareness. As simple as that, this awareness of your body softening right here on the mat. As you lay here, resting in your own space, just notice the sounds around you. Allow those sounds, maybe even the sound of your own breath, bring you back. The thought cloud in the mind, easing back to presence. In your own time, just taking some movement, but reawaken the physical body. Nice slow movements to bring you up right into a seated position. There's no rush here. Slowly making your way there. I'll invite you to bring the palms together at the heart center when you arrive upright in your seated position. Just kind of sealing the practice here with this balanced, even gesture. Palms connected, chest lifting towards the thumbs. Let's take one more full breath in here. And a full breath out. The light within me honors the light within all of you. Namaste. And thank you very much for sharing your practice this afternoon. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Erin.
Thanks.
Love ya.
You too, Tay.
See.
See you later.